What's good, I'm Subby Cubing, and today I'm going to be showing you my collection of Rubik's Cubes. Wait, before we continue, I just gotta let you know that one of the items that I will be showing you in this video is going to be crazy, so stay tuned for that. Starting with the first puzzle I ever solved, the Pyraminx. I got this one many years ago from Walmart, and then I never knew how to solve it, but then one day, there was this classmate of mine who was solving them, and I was like, well, I don't have a Rubik's Cube, but I do remember a puzzle I do have, and so I started solving it, and then my journey kind of began from there. Next up is my very first speed cube ever. It is the Rubik's Speed. My brother got this for me, and as you see, it's definitely faded. I've done a lot of solves. I've tried lubricating it, and the lube never really worked well on this one, but yeah, this is like my very first ever Rubik's Cube. Next up is the 2x2 Rubik's Speed. This one is definitely not as much faded, but if you look a little close there, it is definitely got some wear and tear. This is my very first 2x2 that I've solved. And this came in the same bundle pack of my 3x3 that my brother gave me. Now, when I say that these are my first puzzles, these are not my very first. I actually have had Rubik's Cubes in the past, but I never learned how to solve them, and then, you know, lost or broken apart, lost in my shit. Next up is the Rubik's Mirror Blocks. Now, this one is like, it's kind of like pointless of being a mirror block since it's colored, but technically this is my very first puzzle that I kept intact. Never learned how to solve it until I got my speed 3x3. But these three are my pastel cubes, and as you see, this is a pastel 2x2. Nothing too special from that. I hope you can see the colors. As you see, it's like a little yellow there, blue there. This is I ordered this one off of Amazon. I got these two from Speedcube Shop. This one like has arrows, so you kind of have to solve the arrows, but it's honestly all you do is solve it like a 3x3, but you have to make sure your centers are facing the right direction. It's actually really easy. Next up is my another 7-Eleven cube. It is a official Rubik's branded, but it's like for their like, I don't know what it was called, like some sort of Slurpee thing. But yeah, this is I got this from 7-Eleven. I saw it and asked my mom to buy, and she did. And it's actually not a horrible turning cube. It's not anywhere near a speed cube, but is something I just added to my collection. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the next shelf. I'll show you more from over here. We'll get to those eventually. But for now, we're going to go a lot through these, and we'll continue on for there. This here is my second, like, 3x3 I've gotten. It is a MoYu Super Artist 3M Ball Core Edition. It is the one that has like the golden internals and stuff. It is actually a pretty decent speed cube. And I've done like so many solves on this. This is my new main speed cube. As you see, it is the GAN 16 Max. And overall, this is like a lot better. I have the stronger magnet internals with and it comes like with so much customization. Would really recommend this one if you're really into speed cubing. It is like 85 bucks though. Here is another 3x3. This one is like pretty like just your standard sticker 3x3. I got this as a mystery. I actually when I ordered, because like every time when I make an order from Speedcube Shop, I get like one mystery item, and all my I had two mysteries, and then I had another order that had one mystery, and this just happened to be the mystery all three times. Overall, it's not a bad speed cube. All three of them were the stickered version. So I do not have the stickerless, but it does come stickerless if you would want to get that instead. But it's actually pretty not a bad speed cube. It is not magnetic, but there are better. This is the Icy Amber mirror block, and overall, I would say it's a pretty decent mirror cube. Now, even though you can't use it in competitions, it is my first actual official mirror cube because of the price. It comes like a really soft price, I think like $6. But overall, it's no magnets though. But overall, it is a really good mirror block. Would recommend it. This is my Scube, and overall, this is a pretty easy puzzle. I was expecting it to be much harder, but yeah. I exactly don't know the finger tricks, but I do know how to solve it. It's a pretty good puzzle. I have the like. Don't remember which one I have. I'll put it up here on screen, but yeah, it is honestly pretty good. A good amount of customization. This right here is my square one. Overall, it is an honestly pretty decent square one. I have seen a lot better square ones, but this one just it gets the job done. It's really good for beginner square ones, but I do want to get a new one. This is the RS2M Moyu Evolution. It is a honestly pretty good 2x2. I'm not much of a 2x2 person myself, so I don't really use it all that much, but overall, I gotta say, it's pretty good in my opinion. It doesn't have it does have tension settings, but I don't really notice much of a difference at all. But I'd say like in the very beginning, it is definitely, the magnets are gonna feel very tight, or it's gonna feel very tight in general. But if you like, I don't know if that was something with the tensions, because I've never really noticed much of a difference, but I do know if you like, I would recommend some speed lube. But pretty good. This is the Moyu Milong 4x4, and honestly, it is a pretty okay beginner 4x4. I would say, I personally don't, I just like when I've taken it apart to clean it, I was never able to really put it back together the same. And the only problem I have is like sometimes I get this like really annoying sound you might not be able to hear, but it's like a kind of like a plastic squinching against yourself, but it doesn't really affect your solves, and you don't really hear it if you go fast. But overall, it has okay corner cutting. It's an okay 4x4. Next up is the Moyu Milong 5x5. This one also comes with magnets. It's a pretty good, honest, really good 5x5. I have no issues with it whatsoever. I have had friends pop it, but I've never really personally had like a actual, like, I want to say pop, more like a jam, but I've never personally jammed it. They were going too aggressive with it. Overall, I'd say this is a pretty good 5x5. This is the Moyu Milong 6x6, and as I said before, this is like, it's pretty decent. Like, it's honestly pretty good, especially as a 6x6. I'm not fast myself. I feel like sometimes with the smaller like things it gets, it's hard to like flick those specific bars the smaller they get. Overall though, this is a pretty good 6x6. Haven't had any issues. I haven't tried to adjust it or clean or anything, because I don't want to end up like my 4x4. But honestly, pretty good. Upcoming now is the 7x7 Moyu Milong. It is honestly a pretty good 7x7 too. Just takes, you know, as the bigger they go, all you really need to know is the 5x5, and then you can kind of just solve all the way from there. Just know how to adjust your parity algorithm, and then you're pretty good to go. Here's the Rubik's carving cube, and this one like was created for like a race car thing. I think it was like Mercedes, and it's honestly a pretty okay, like, I wouldn't say it's a speed cube at all, definitely not. But then the color palette's like definitely weird. Like, it's just really confusing compared to other carbon cubes. But overall, it's a pretty cool cube for the collection. You do have to make sure that since the carbon print pattern, you have to make sure that they are all going the way. So you got, if you want it to honestly look good in the end, make sure you solve your centers correctly. Exact same thing with the Aero Pastel cube. Next is the Asu V7 4x4. I have single track, and it's honestly a very good cube. I have had honestly no issues with it. I would say, like, adjusting, I did adjust it, but it had no issues this time like I did with my previous 4x4. So it does need a little loosening in the beginning, but overall, I would recommend this 4x4, and so would many others. This here is the Moyu RS3 Pyraminx, and it is honestly a pretty good Pyraminx in general. It has adjustments, which the caps are hard to take off though. I think that happens with every Pyraminx though. But I have the maglev versions, and so this one comes with like purple Eternals. But it is a really good like speed Pyraminx. This right here is the Xingqiao Master Pyraminx, and overall, like, it is a pretty good cube, and it took me a while to solve. All I learned was like kind of like one thing, and then I kind of like personally taught it. Cut all of that. This here is the Xingqiao Master Pyraminx, and honestly is a pretty decent cube. I have accidentally personally broken my cap and had to super glue the pieces together because I kept on dropping it, and then it just you know, it's broke. For a while it stumped me, but then I really tried to do it, and then honestly personally taught myself how to solve this thing. So it shouldn't be that hard. This here is like a pedal kind of coin-ish Pyraminx. As you see, these centers rotate and stuff, and it is a pretty honestly good Pyraminx to learn to solve. You can solve it like regular, but when you rotate the coins is when it gets a little interesting. I self-taught myself this one as well, so it's not too hard. This right here is the YJ Quanji 3x3, and like every other 3x3, it's like really honestly kind of cool to have the collection. Much different color scheme, which I love, and just pretty cool. This right here is like my Matrix 3x3. Now I don't know if that's exactly what it was called, but it kind of like has like a computer chip design, and it's not made for solving, just made for fidgeting or as a desk ornament. But it's honestly pretty cool and pretty fun with fidgeting. This right here is my Downchain CTO. Now most of y'all might think this might look very similar to the F2O, but this one is the same octahedron, but it more solves exactly, honestly, basically exactly like a Pyraminx. So if myself taught that one. This is the Xingqiao F2O, and honestly, I wouldn't say this is the best F2O. I've heard a lot of good things about the Dishang one, but I was honestly going for pure budget. But this is like, it took me a while to figure it out. I actually just learned it today as I recorded this video a few moments ago. But yeah, mine has like a messed up color scheme, as I've noticed, and it's like really weird, so I definitely need to get a new one. But pretty okay. This is my MoYu Master Morphinx, and if y'all didn't know what that is, it is basically a 3x3 shape mod designed to look like a Pyraminx, and it's honestly a pretty fun puzzle. It comes with its own little tiny little challenges, but honestly, no issues at all. Pretty cool. This right here is the YJ Yoo-Hoo Megaminx, and it's considered to be one of the best Megaminxes out there. I want to get the version 3, but haven't gotten it yet. But it comes with really good grip. I would recommend this one out of a lot. This right here is my knockoff brand Megaminx. I don't exactly remember what it was called. I got this from Barnes & Noble, and it is like honestly a pretty okay one. The only reason I actually never personally solved this one, even though this was my first. I waited till I got the next one because since it's stickered, I did not want to ruin it. So all I really kind of did was put it in this like checkerboard pattern that I learned on my phone, and since it was so long to do, I will never scramble, never touch this cube. This one right here is my MoYu Kilominx, and honestly, I don't really like it. It catches on so much, like the accidentally turning so much, and it really just can be a trouble, and for me personally. But overall, I would say it's a decent, like a little okay Megaminx. Moving on to more 3x3 shape mods, and this is my YJ Fisher and my MoYu Windmill Cube, and they solve exactly like you would a 3x3, except this one has it to where these edges are like basically the exact same no matter how they're flipped, so you might come across some things. So all you have to do is remove it and put it back in the other direction, and it's pretty okay. And this one, like, it kind of like shifts a little bit, but it's pretty cool. This is my Icy Amber Access Cube, and honestly, it is a pretty easy cube if you know how to solve a 3x3 and know how to kind of form it in your mind on how to like put things in correctly. Overall, pretty cool. This is my Pandora Cube. If you can't tell, it is actually just another 3x3 shape mod. This one has a little issue that a lot of people face, so where it feels like it's kind of like stabbing your fingers or your and it's just overall just sometimes like a little pokey, but pretty good. This is one of my favorite Rubik's cubes, and the reason that is if you can't tell, it has tactile like tiles. It's like like you can feel it, and this is actually made for the blind, and when Rubik's collaborated with the Nationality of the Blind, so you can like kind of solve this without looking. And I have done this. I'll solve it in like school and class and stuff, and it's just honestly fun that you could just, you know, solve under the table. Pretty fun. This right here is the Rubik's Phantom, and overall it looks like a pretty dark, but if you didn't know, it is actually heat sensitive, and the more you rub it, the more colors kind of appear. and it's a pretty fun challenge, but not if you don't kind of like throw it in the freezer for like a minute, because it will honestly easily like show if it's like below room temperature. So this is the Rubik's Squish Cube. Overall, a really weird puzzle. Definitely one of Rubik's most like weirdest puzzles. This one feels a little fragile, so I try to be careful with it, especially since I tried to take a corner piece out and accidentally kind of made one of the corner pieces fragile. So I try not to mess with it much and more have it next to decorations or like with my plushies. This is the Clover Cube, and overall it is literally like no different from any other puzzle. Like it may, in my opinion, for a while I thought it was basically just like a void cube, because you solve it exactly like a 3x3. As you can see, these are corners and stuff, and these are obviously edges. But I discovered that if you look inside, you can see the color of the centers and stuff. So it completely is just an honest, useless, like maybe like a decoration piece that I was really disappointed when I found that out, because I mistaken it for the QG, GE, Clover Cube. This right here is like a form of this like O2 cube series that creates like a bunch of different like it has like there's 3 versions. One that's like a typical O2 cube, one that's like a O2 like cube but had edges, and this one is O2 edges that kind of like is like more of a 2x2 image. But basically all it is a 3x3 shape mob, because you can see inside, and you solve this exactly like a 3x3. This is the Moyu Puppet 1. And this is one of the 4 puzzles out of my 60 collection that I have not learned how to solve, and I'm honestly terrified of touching this thing. As you see, it can like shapeshift and stuff, and like it just gets jammed in all these places, and just overall really confusing. This is the Moyu Puppet 2, and I actually have 2 of these. I have one that I both got from Speed Cube Shop, and this one I specifically got from Amazon because I was way too impatient to wait for the other one. But yeah, this one is a lot easier to solve. I actually have solved this one with written down like algorithms, because they're so long I can't remember. And there's one like rotation of the center of the inner 3x3 pieces that is just so hard to remember. And it's same with this one, catches on, shapeshifts, yada yada yada. Y'all know the rest. This is the Chi-E Gear Cube, and even though it looks like a 3x3, it does a lot of crazy turns and takes actually a few moments to solve, but overall, believe it or not, it is an insanely easy puzzle. This here is my Hello Cube gear shift, and basically 2x2 gear cube. And as you see, even though it rotates like this, you would think, oh, it's just gonna rotate all the way back. But one thing you want to know is that it does this. Pretty cool. This right here is the crazy 3x3. And the reason they call it crazy is because, as you see, when you do that, it does some crazy things. Overall, I thought this cube was really confusing, but all I needed to know was one thing, and that was like to do Daisy. But then I kind of like self-taught myself the rest, because all you have to do is make sure these, like when you create the cross, that these are connected to that. And it's and like when you create the cross, like everything over here is corrected, and everything on the other sides are corrected, and then it kind of like all forms itself by itself, and it's like kind of a disappointing challenge, if I'm gonna be honest. This right here is my crazy mirror block. As you know, it does the same exact thing, except it's a mirror block. This is like the 3rd out of my puzzles I haven't actually fully memorized how to solve. And it's honestly a pretty cool looking puzzle, but I just don't have much to say about it since I've like never solved it, you know. This is the 3x3 Go Cube, and it is like a smart cube, so it Bluetooth and charges and stuff connects to your phone, can even teach you how to solve the cube. I actually let my friend borrow this to let him learn how to solve it, and it's done pretty good job. And it's a decent 3x3, not my favorite. Magnets are pretty strong, but pretty cool. This is the Lustrous 3x3, and the difference between this one and most 3x3s is this one actually lights up like this. Now it's actually looking pretty bright to the camera, but in general it is honestly like pretty decent in lighting. And the reason I got this one is because my Go Cube's light does not, like, you know, it gets too bright, and then the orange and red are really hard to like tell the difference from. But I actually can tell all the parts apart, all the colors apart when it lights up, and it is a pretty cool 3x3 that you can solve in the dark. This is the Chi 3x3. What the? No, it's not. This is the Chi magnetic void cube, and it is honestly a pretty cool puzzle. It is not just solved like a regular 3x3, as you can get something kind of like called a form of parity with your corners and stuff. But what I do is kind of just take a piece out over here, put it over, and then kind of just refix it all like that. And that is also a way that you can like solve the parity. And the reason it has parity is because when you're solving it, you might accidentally mess up your like invisible color scheme that you're trying to do, and that's what kind of like creates the whole mess. Now we've seen most of the stuff, let's move on to the boxed ones. This is the Chi Ancient Coin Cube, a very easy beginner puzzle that I would honestly recommend. As you see, the pieces like rotate inside and stuff, and then you just like, you know, twist a corner. There's like honestly no algorithms you need to know, just swapping pieces back and forth, and it's pretty cool, pretty fun, much similar to my Pyraminx, except that's an actual puzzle that you do have to know algorithms for. Pretty good. This is the Chi Pentacle Cube, and much like the Ancient Coin Cube, this one rotates inside. All you have to do is like know how to solve a 3x3, and the reason I say that is because it actually does have secret 3x3 edge pieces that most people either don't know about or forget about. And so when you do scramble it, you do have to solve the inner 3x3, I recommend, and then solve the coin faces, because all you have to do is kind of like put it in, take something out, and then make sure you get all in, and it's like really simple, but just a long process. This is the Chi Clover Cube, and this one, unlike the other Clover Cube, actually does what I was expecting, much like that. And this is the Pro version. I do plan on getting the easier version, but what makes me kind of scared to mix this one is not only can it does it have like this like inner corner pieces that you got to focus on, but it also can do something called jumbling, where it does crazy stuff like that. This is my Chi mirror block, and it is also magnetic. Even though it is magnetic, I honestly kind of prefer my Icy Amber version, because the corner cutting on this one isn't the greatest, but it is honestly not the worst. So even though the Icy Amber one has better, it is still pretty good cube. Would recommend. This is the Chi Glow 3x3. I got the magnetic version, and it is stickered, so is another reason why I got the lustrous Shengshou lustrous 3x3 over this one, because also when it glows, the white side becomes like blue, and obviously blue stays blue, but a little different, and it kind of like really hard to tell the difference between like this color and orange, and it's just so complicated. As you see, this is non-glowing. This is it glowing. As you see, it goes pretty good, but as you can tell with the white, if you you really can't tell actually, because the glow is going away, because the glow doesn't even last all that long. Also, like even when you flash a light onto it, the glow does either just takes either forever to charge or just does not glow at all. So you actually have to put it under UV light to charge it. So it's honestly pretty like way too complicated just for night solves. So I would really recommend the Shengshou 3x3. This is the Chi Void Cube. As you can see, this one's a lot different because this is actually their limited edition UV coated tropical version that comes with more transparent plastic. No difference in solves. They solve the exact same way, same magnet strength, everything like that, and it's honestly like just pretty cool to have in the collection. This is a 3x3 that I got at FunQuest for $2. I actually got it for free because my card wouldn't work and the girl just gave it to me. It sucks, it's butt, and yeah, would recommend to all speed cubers because it's just such a good speed cube, man. This is my tiny 3x3, and it doesn't even turn, but a friend gave this to me, so now I just have it. So, yeah. Now let's move on to my two non-cubic puzzles. This is the Shengshou clock, which comes at a much cheaper price than Chi one. Even though I really do want to get the cheaper Chi one, I got this one instead. And when I first got it, it actually had a messed up magnet, so one of the pins would only stay on one side. So I had to take it apart, fix it, and I would not recommend doing that because this one actually has springs inside and like all over, and it's really hard to realign everything. So do not take apart a Xingqiao clock. This is the Rubik's Magic, and it is a pretty cool puzzle to have. All of this is one I would not recommend scrambling, because if you do, you could actually get tangled and then the string just snap and break. And even though you can restring it with some fishing line, I don't want to go through that whole process. So this is more like a magic trick. As you see, the 3 rings are not linked and now are linked. There's technically 2 ways I learned from Z3 cubing how to solve this: a faster method and an easier method. But overall, they are pretty cool to do. Now that we're done with the puzzles, time to move on to accessories that I have. Let's start with my mats. Starting off with my first mat, Soup Timmy, which is a YouTuber that kind of got me into cubing a lot more as well. And yeah, this is my very first mat ever. This is a Speed Cube Shop map that I have, and I'm only going to be showing you one of the 3 I have because the other 2 are actually underneath those 2 sets of puzzles, all the way from the beginning to my carving cube. But yeah, I use this one specifically as a mouse pad. Now moving on to one of my most exciting mats, as this other Speed Cube Shop mat. And what makes this one special, if you haven't noticed, it actually has Cameron, the CEO of Speed Cube Shop's autograph. I was very excited when I got this, and like, it's just like a dream to have. Like, this is my first autographed item. This is my Moyu AI timer. It is honestly a pretty cool one that I have. It can connect to your phone. It's the only one I that actually works, because I did get the Xingqiao timer, I believe. And that one actually couldn't even go past a minute. It like would just start saying gibberish and would break, so I got this one instead. It actually can connect to, apparently, like I've heard it can connect to Gen 5 mats of Speed Stacks timers. Had a little audio jack there, so you can connect to your computer. But yeah, it's pretty good. Up next is my lubricants. I actually have a Speed to a Lube 3, with like weight 3. This one kind of like makes your cube more controllable, and I have some Martian lube, and I also have some Soup Timmy ramen lube. This is my Speed Cube Shop blindfold, and honestly, it is like, I haven't really used it before, but it's pretty comfortable. It's made for, like, you know, of those blindfold sobs that you might see sometimes, obviously, or like what you could do is like use this and solve the Rubik's sensory cube that I showed you guys earlier. Here's a couple of examples of bags you can get. You can actually get a legit clock bag from a GE clock bag. Speed Cube Shop has their nice little beautiful, so many different options of bags that I have seen, all the way from like special like holiday editions to their regulars, and even like some collaborative Soup Timmy or even J-Perm ones that you can get. And to top it all off with my final item, my Moyu carrying bag that I have. This is where I can carry a good amount of cubes for a really good price. It gives you actually a pretty decent amount of room. As you see, I just keep my regular bags in there for now when I'm not using the bag, but it has this like slightly kind of a little pouch right here. Now it is a okay pouch. I don't really like this one. I wish it was more like stronger on holding things, but it comes with a lot of decent good amount of room, and even a shoulder strap that you can use to carry around when you're going places in competitions or whatever. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to, go follow my other channel called Sabrab, where I do lots of gaming and other stuff. And I'll see you soon. Peace out.